On one of those cold autumn days in a deep forest, where the ancient trees blocked almost all light, an event occurred that changed not only the lives of its participants, but also those who were nearby. This event didn't become a loud story. It didn't draw attention, but it left a mark on the souls of those who witnessed it. In such moments, you realize how important it is for someone to just lend a hand, even if at first it seems like madness. Anna, a woman in her middle years who had long since left the city, had lived in this forest for many years. She sought peace, quiet, and freedom, needing no one and seeking no one's attention. Here, in this forest, she felt at home. She had learned to rely only on herself, to embrace independence, and her life had become meaningful through this freedom. But one day, on that very autumn afternoon, when everything seemed swallowed by fog and rain, she noticed something strange. It was a child, no older than 5 years. He sat by the side of a forest trail, weak and freezing, his face dirty and his eyes filled with fear and confusion. He was alone. There was no sign of his mother, and only the shadows of the forest could tell their version of this tragic event. Anna approached him cautiously, instinctively assessing the situation. The boy was shivering with cold. His lips were blue. He didn't speak, didn't cry. He just sat there, as if drained of strength and hope. She sat beside him, looking at his exhausted face. And then, unexpectedly, she made a decision. She could not leave him. "What are you doing here, little one?" she whispered, trying to find the right moment to communicate. He remained silent, offering no response, his eyes empty and full of despair. Anna gently wrapped him in her arms, warming him with her body, not knowing what to do next. Her life had been full of tough decisions, years of solitude and self-sufficiency. But now she needed to be something more than just a person who knew how to survive. She took the boy to her home, a small wooden cabin on the edge of the forest, where life was simple and everything necessary was within reach. Here, among books and old things, Anna began to treat him, feed him, despite her mistrust of strangers, despite her belief that everything should remain as it was. But his eyes didn't allow her to turn away. The boy was frightened, as if he believed he had simply woken up in a new world, full of fog and cold nights. He was alien to this place, but at the same time, this forest was becoming his new home. He couldn't say where he came from or why he ended up here. He remained silent, and Anna didn't ask any questions at first. She began teaching him how to survive in this world. Not everything was easy. She was a woman accustomed to hiding from the world, one who knew how to build shelters and gather food. But she wasn't ready to take on the role of a caregiver. How could she teach a child to be strong in this restless, harsh world? How could she teach him to perceive the world not as a threat, but as a place that could be understood and survived? Anna showed him how to gather mushrooms and berries, how to identify animal tracks, how to read maps and navigate the forest. She taught him to be cautious, to watch out for signs, to understand that from any situation, there could be a way out if one paid attention. But she also realized that something was missing in her harsh lessons. The boy continued to stay silent. Anna felt that she needed more than just survival. He was somehow cut off from the world, and she couldn't find a way to help him. One day, an elderly neighbor, whom Anna had known only recently, came to her house. Seeing how silent and withdrawn the boy was, the old woman offered to help. "You're teaching him to survive," she said, "but he needs more than that. You're showing him how to find food and survive, but you're not letting him feel alive." Anna thought about it. She didn't fully understand what the old woman meant, but something in her words resonated. Not just survival, there was something more. The old woman suggested that Anna teach the boy to feel, to perceive the world not as a danger, but as part of himself. He needed to learn not to fear silence, not to fear loneliness, to learn to value and respect what the world gives him. The old woman explained to Anna how to teach him to be in harmony with the surrounding world, to understand that even solitude in the forest is not the end, but an opportunity to be oneself. After a few weeks, Anna realized the old woman had been right. The boy, though still silent, began to change. He became more cautious, but not overly fearful. He began to notice the details around him, the way the moonlight shone, the way the leaves rustled under his feet.